Have you ever found yourself, ticking all the boxes, career goals met, relationships seem okay, even a thriving social life? Maybe yet there's still this persistent, subtle hum of something missing. Like a feeling that despite all the outward stuff, the success, a deeper part of you isn't quite nourished.
Yeah.
We hear this from so many people, and it often feels like this quiet individual struggle. But what if it's actually a signal, a sign pointing towards, I don't know, a more authentic way of being, a true inner state we've somehow drifted away from?
That's a really common feeling.
Today, we're diving deep into what it means to reclaim that inner compass, to truly live from your essential self.
It's an incredibly pervasive experience, you're right, and you've really captured the heart of it. What's fascinating, and what a lot of wisdom traditions and even modern psychology suggest, is that we are actually born inherently whole. Yeah, think of it as being deeply connected to our inner essence, our spirit, let's call it. The challenge isn't that we lack this connection initially, but more how the world, from our earliest moments, subtly begins to shape us. This conditioning, however well-intentioned, it can gradually disconnect us from that pure, unfiltered vibration we start with.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. You talk about how the world shapes us from birth and disconnects us. How does that outward focus, this constant shaping, how does it actually lead us astray from that wholeness you mentioned?
Well, from the very beginning, we're learning machines, right? We observe, we internalize, we adapt, and we quickly learn that acceptance, safety, sometimes even love, often seem to depend on conforming to our environment.
Makes sense.
So our attention naturally shifts outward. We start measuring our worth through the eyes of others, parents, teachers, peers, and then, broader society. This external gaze, it transforms us from simply being ourselves to constantly performing for that external validation. We're picking up on countless cues. What's okay, what's desired, what gets praised, what avoids criticism.
Right, it's like we're always on some kind of stage adjusting our energy based on who's watching.
Yeah.
I've definitely felt that pressure, like, tailoring what you say in a meeting or changing how you act at a party.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it goes much deeper than just those superficial things.
Oh, absolutely. Much deeper. We become experts at reading the room, sensing others' needs and expectations, and then adapting ourselves, sometimes consciously, often unconsciously, just to fit in or get by. And for, say, highly sensitive people or those with a strong empathetic capacity, this ability can become almost like an involuntary survival skill. They might feel other people's emotions so vividly that they just instinctively take responsibility for them. Yeah, trying to fix or soothe or please everyone around them, often at a real personal cost. It's a powerful ability, but if it's not directed consciously, it can lead to constant self-sacrifice.
That brings up a really critical point then. If we're constantly performing, constantly looking outside for cues, what does that do to our own inner compass? How do we even begin to know what's true for us if we're so busy focusing on everyone else?
That's the crux of it. This habit of external focus, over time, it profoundly weakens our inner compass. We start to doubt our own feelings, our instincts, our deepest desires. A subtle kind of insidious doubt creeps in, maybe whispering that our true voice is too much or not enough or maybe just inconvenient for the people around us.
Yeah, I can see that.
And as that self-doubt gets stronger, it creates a really significant internal divide.
Right.
We stop fully trusting our spirit, that innate core of authenticity, and instead we become reliant on external validation.
So our self-worth gets tied up in things outside of us.
Exactly. It shifts from being inherent to being conditional, tied to achievements or approval or the different roles we play. It's a bit like trying to navigate with a GPS that keeps defaulting to someone else's destination, not yours.
So we end up maybe accumulating these external successes, playing these roles, but there's still this subtle emptiness, this longing we can't quite name. It's almost like we're living, I don't know, someone else's life or a heavily edited version of our own.
Precisely. Life starts to feel heavy, maybe almost mechanical. We move through routines, we chase goals that aren't truly ours deep down, we collect experiences or things. But that inner void, it remains. Sometimes it even feels like it grows larger with each supposed success. This is what I sometimes call the silent crisis of disconnection. It's usually not a dramatic collapse, more like a gradual hollowing out, a quiet desperation almost. And its root cause, really, is this prolonged outward attention. We absorb too much of the world's noise, and in doing that, we begin to doubt the quiet, powerful voice of our own spirit. We lose touch with what truly fuels us from within.
Okay, so if that's the core problem, this disconnection from our authentic selves, then what's the fundamental truth we've maybe forgotten what emerges as the real meaning of life when we manage to cut through all the external noise and the performing.
Well, when we strip away those layers of conditioning and noise, a pretty simple yet profound truth comes into focus. Each of us is, first and foremost, a spirit. Before the name, the personality, the societal expectations, we were pure consciousness. A living essence with a unique vibration, a distinct blueprint, if you will.
The blueprint?
Yeah, and this spirit chooses to come into the material world, and to do that, it needs a vessel, the body. Think of it like a seed, maybe an acorn containing the pure genetic blueprint of a huge, majestic oak tree. Your spirit holds that pure potential of who you're truly meant to become in your body. It's the soil, the roots, the trunk, the branches, the structure that allows that unique seed to sprout and hopefully bloom into its fullest form. This idea, it resonates across so many different wisdom traditions.
That seed analogy is really helpful, quite
Yeah.
vivid, but our body and mind, they have their own thoughts, right? Feelings, impulses. How do we tell the difference between what's coming from our spirit versus what might just be our conditioned mind or the body reacting on its own? They seem like they can have their own agenda sometimes.
That's exactly where the confusion often lies. Our body, with its incredibly sophisticated brain and emotional system, can think, feel, and react independently. Just because you have a thought or feel an emotion doesn't automatically mean it's coming directly from your spirit.
Right.
In fact, a lot of what we experience as thought and emotion is shaped by past experiences, by protective mechanisms we developed maybe in childhood, and by all sorts of collective societal programming we absorb.
Yeah.
It's almost like trying to hold water in a sieve, maybe. Our body was ideally designed to be a pure, unhindered channel for spirit's expression, like the instrument in the orchestra, not the conductor calling the shots. When the instrument tries to write its own music, well, it often falls out of tune with the soul's intended melody.
So if our body and mind are operating independently, kind of separate from our spirit, without that higher guidance, what's the real world consequence? And what is the true meaning of life then, if it's not just about chasing those external goals or playing roles?
Well, when the body and mind operate disconnected from that spiritual guidance, we essentially lose our higher direction. We might experience really powerful emotions or act on impulses that don't truly reflect our deepest essence. We might chase goals that impress others but leave us feeling totally empty inside.
Yeah, that burnout feeling.
Or perform roles that feel like a kind of prison to our soul, leading to that burnout, or just a profound sense of meaninglessness. The true meaning of life, then, as I see it, is to allow your spirit, your higher self, your deepest potential to fully inhabit and express itself through your body.
Okay, inhabit and express.
Exactly. Your spirit wants to live through you. It wants to create, to love, to experience the world in its unique way. Life isn't just about existing or surviving. It's about becoming a living, breathing manifestation of your unique spiritual essence.
So this alignment, spirit, mind, body, that's the absolute foundation for real fulfillment. It's not like the entire game changes when this clicks into place.
Absolutely. It's fundamental. When your spirit leads and your body becomes its willing, cooperative vessel, then every action starts to feel imbued with meaning. You no longer feel like you're just getting through the day or enduring things. Instead, you experience life as this unfolding, organic expression of your deepest truth. Just like that seed doesn't question whether it should become a tree, your spirit carries an inherent natural impulse to grow, expand, and blossom. Your profound job, really, in this lifetime, is to provide the best environment for that growth.
How do we do that?
By listening inwardly, by clearing away the weeds of conditioning, and by nurturing that inner growth with care, patience, and importantly, deep self-compassion. When you truly get this, you realize your life's deepest meaning isn't something out there to be found. It's something to be lived from the inside out. A beautiful, organic, truly unique expression.
This all sounds incredibly powerful. A complete paradigm shift, really. But for someone listening right now, they might be thinking, this is beautiful, but how do I even begin to do this? What are the practical steps to actually live from your spirit?
That's the key question, isn't it? It's not just an abstract idea. It's a very practical, ongoing process. It requires conscious engagement. I tend to see it as 3 essential interwoven steps. And it's really crucial to understand these aren't like a linear checklist you just complete and bang, you're done.
Right.
It's more of a continuous spiraling journey where each step feeds the others.
Okay, interwoven. What's the first step on this journey then?
The first is learning to recognize your spirit's unique energy. Your spirit has its own distinct vibration, a signature feeling that's different from, say, transient emotions or thoughts generated by external stuff or your conditioned mind.
How do you do that? Recognize it.
You need to create consistent moments of quiet observation. This doesn't have to be formal meditation, just pausing, maybe a few minutes each morning or before sleep. In these moments, you gently ask yourself, what feels purely me right now? Which thoughts, feelings, actions make me feel most alive, most true, most resonant?
Looking for that resonance.
Exactly. You might notice a subtle lightness, maybe a sense of yes, or just a deep knowing. It takes patience, curiosity, persistence. You're sort of collecting these subtle impressions, like gathering little pieces of a mosaic, gradually building a clearer picture of your true essence. Think of it like learning to pick out a specific instrument like the oboe in a complex orchestra. It takes practice.
That makes perfect sense. It's like tuning into a specific frequency that's always there, just often drowned out by everything else. Okay, so once you start to recognize it, even faintly, what's the natural next step?
Once you begin to feel that authentic vibration, even subtly, the second step is to learn to consistently bring your attention inward. This is huge because most of us are so heavily conditioned to keep our attention constantly focused outward on other people, problems, screens, the demands of life.
The default mode.
Totally. So this step is about intentionally and repeatedly shifting your focus inside. By doing this, you start to hear that quiet voice of your spirit more clearly, even in the middle of daily chaos. You become more sensitive to whether your current state or your reaction or a choice you're about to make is genuinely coming from your authentic self or just from old conditioning.
How do you practice that?
Things like mindfulness practices, even simple breath awareness exercises, can really strengthen this muscle. It's a skill, it builds with consistent practice, making it easier to stay centered in your own energy rather than getting constantly swept away by the world around you. This inner check-in becomes your new default.
Okay, so first, recognize the energy. Then, consciously shift our attention inward to hear it more clearly.
Yeah.
And then, the critical third piece. What is it?
The third essential step is to learn to support and value your spirit. Once you start recognizing what genuinely belongs to your authentic self, those precious dreams, intuitive hits, unique thoughts, those subtle energetic nudges, you absolutely must learn to truly value them above all else.
Value them above all else. That sounds challenging.
It can be, because so many of us have been taught, directly or indirectly, that our authentic feelings or desires are somehow less important than external expectations. We learn to downplay them, see them as unrealistic, maybe selfish or naive even.
Right.
But in reality, these pure, authentic aspects of you, they are the most vital, meaningful, and honestly sacred pieces of your being. You need to retrain yourself to see them that way, to stand behind them, protect them, give them the space they need to grow.
Protect them.
Because, truly, you are the only one who can. No one else is going to champion your spirit for you. No one else can prioritize your higher self like you can. Your spirit relies on you to be its guardian, its fierce advocate in this world. This might mean setting new boundaries, making choices that feel maybe uncomfortable to others but deeply right for you, or consciously dedicating time to things that genuinely light you up inside.
Wow. So it's not a simple, like, ABC path to the finish line. It sounds much more like an organic dance where each step recognizing, turning inward, value, and profoundly feeds the others, creating this continuous upward spiral.
That's a perfect way to put it. An upward spiral. They unfold together symbiotically. As you learn to know your spirit more deeply, you naturally get better at paying attention inwardly. As you pay attention inwardly more, you hear your spirit's guidance more clearly.
And then you value it more.
Exactly. And as you hear it more clearly, you learn to value and support it more fiercely, more unapologetically. It is a continuous spiraling process, guiding you upward, bit by bit. Over time, this helps you embody more and more of your higher self in daily life, bringing you closer and closer to living fully, vibrantly, as your spirit truly intended.
This really does sound like a complete transformation of one's whole experience and not just some minor tweak to well-being.
Yeah.
What are the tangible, real-world benefits for someone who actually commits to living this way from their spirit?
Oh, the benefits are profound. They touch every single aspect of your being. First and foremost, aligning with your higher self significantly boosts both your physical and mental health.
How so?
Well, when you live in harmony with your true essence, your body tends to thrive. That internal conflict, the stress of living out of sync, it greatly reduces, which naturally lowers chronic physiological stress. We see this in mind-body research all the time. Emotional congruence supports physical vitality, energy flow, even healing.
Makes sense. Less internal friction.
Exactly. And mentally, you'll likely experience reduced anxiety, much better mental clarity, and greater emotional stability. You also tend to discover this deep, abiding joy that doesn't really depend on external circumstances or temporary highs.
Not just fleeting happiness.
No, it's more like a profound sense of inner contentment and purpose that comes directly from living authentically. In this state, you not only feel more vibrant and alive yourself, but you also start to witness the beautiful, unique, powerful person you were always meant to be actually showing up in the world.
So it's truly a holistic flourishing then, not just feeling better spiritually, but a complete upgrade across the mental, physical, emotional landscape.
Absolutely. Living from your spirit creates this wonderful, virtuous cycle. You feel more joy, more love, more inner peace, and you step into the fullest, most authentic expression of who you are. This deep alignment really is the key to holistic well-being, profound fulfillment, and just a radiant, vibrant life, becoming your own deepest source of strength and wisdom.
What an incredible deep dive that was into reclaiming our inner compass. We've really explored how societal influences can, subtly disconnect us from our true spirit, the profound meaning of life when we do reconnect, and these really practical interwoven steps for letting that deeper wisdom actually manifest in our daily lives.
And maybe as you reflect on all of this, just consider for a moment, how often do you make decisions, big or small, based on what others expect? Or what external pressures seem to dictate versus what truly resonates with that quiet, unique feeling deep inside you? What might genuinely shift in your life if, maybe just for today, you chose to consciously champion that inner voice, that unique spirit above everything else?
That's a truly powerful question to sit with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really encourage you to reflect on that question and perhaps explore how you might begin, maybe right now, to recognize, turn inward to, and truly value your own spirit. Until next time.